It is now confirmed. There is a government agenda to remove Russell Brand from polite conversation, to take away his livelihood and silence him. It's a fact. It is not a conspiracy theory. I will say it once more. It's proven. From the Post-Millennial, UK Parliament sends letters to social media platforms demanding demonetization of Russell Brand. We covered this last night on Timcast IRL, but we do have some new developments. Now Elon Musk is being targeted with activists, and yes, even political activists, and yes, government officials demanding Russell Brand be demonetized. Why? Has he been convicted of a crime? Has he violated any of the policies of these platforms? No. He was simply accused in I believe it was the Sunday Times. Several news articles have come out talking about impropriety, allegations of abuse and assault against Russell Brand, and that's just it, allegations. But more importantly, there's the more serious question. Even if Russell Brand is guilty, should he not be allowed to do his job? Let's frame this in another way. If a man is an auto mechanic and he robs a liquor store and is caught, should he be fired from his shop? Why? He'll go to jail and maybe do some time. Maybe if he's found guilty of robbing a liquor store, there will be penalties. And then he goes back to work. Is the boss going to say, I can't have someone here who robbed a liquor store? Maybe. But we have to think about what this means and what they're proposing. First, there's an outright government agenda against Russell Brand. And I want to tell you guys about the worst timed article in the history of the media. Okay, it's not really true, but just as of right now, I want to gloat and mock the Daily Beast. It's almost too perfect, really. You see, they're trying to reframe the narrative. What is actually happening? Russell Brand is accused, and a member of the UK Parliament admits to contacting various networks to get Russell Brand's content removed and reaching out to social media platforms to take away his income. TikTok and Rumble, I'm not sure about TikTok, but I know Rumble said pound sand to the UK government. Now, here's the fun part. This article from the Daily Beast, the deep state didn't frame Russell Brand, you idiots. And there it is, the reframing of the conspiracy theory. Perhaps it's not the worst timed article. It's the most perfectly timed article. Why? The article was published September 20th, 2023 at 3:31 p.m., reframing the conspiracy theory from there is an agenda to silence Russell Brand into they made up fake allegations against Russell Brand to silence him. You see what I'm saying? The theory, Russell Brand comes out and says there may be a greater agenda here. And maybe a component of this is that Russell Brand is being framed. I don't think that was the core of the allegation. However, when people were talking about an agenda against Russell Brand, it's surfacing decades-old allegations, which may be out of context or otherwise, at a time when the media was celebrating and supporting Russell Brand. All of a sudden now, they have a problem with him. You see, let me show you this story from the Post-Millennial. 2 tweets. Mario Nawfal comes out at 3:38 p.m. Wow. You mean 7 minutes after the publishing of this Daily Beast article, emails were leaked from the UK government to TikTok? And Rumble posted 3:54 p.m. their letter from the UK Parliament as well. So we're talking about within a few minutes to about a half an hour before the release of these emails proving definitively that the UK government, for which Russell Brand is a citizen, is targeting him to silence him. Shortly after, or shortly before this definitive proof comes out, the Daily Beast publishes an article saying they did not frame him, which reframes the conspiracy theory. You see, it's probably the worst timed article or the best. Why? Now that we know that there is a government agenda against Russell Brand, Daily Beast now changes the narrative to argue that it's the deep state, in fact, framing him. Whoa, that's a more extreme interpretation of the original question that was asked about what was going on with Russell Brand and his content and this story. The initial question is Is there an agenda to silence him, to shut him down over what he said about Big Pharma, the war in Ukraine, the military-industrial complex? Is there? Now, all of a sudden, the conspiracy theory is being reframed by the Daily Beast to the deep state didn't frame him. You see how this works? Masterfully done, or worst timing ever. I don't know. Pick one. Because when I see this story, I can just say one thing. It doesn't matter what the Daily Beast is saying about trying to reframe the narrative. The conspiracy theory was proven true in less than a week. Now, for those that didn't see it, I'll give you the quick breakdown of what's happening with Russell Brand, but we do have more developments. We have this from 21 minutes ago. Elon Musk faces questions over comedian's Twitter status after coming to his defense. And Elon Musk also said, pound sand. We are winning, my friends. Simply put, they shut down Alex Jones. They shut down Alex Jones, Paul Joseph Watson, Milo Yiannopoulos, Laura Loomer, all at the same time, basically. Why? Well, I think when you look at this story about Elon Musk, and thanks to our good friends over at Rumble, as well as Elon Musk, Mario Nawfal publishing this information from TikTok. I'm not sure where he got it, but shout out to TikTok for however they got, released this email. Thanks to individuals at these organizations, we now know what they're doing. Thanks to lawsuits and the work of diligent activists and lawyers, we know that Twitter was colluding with the federal government. These things are all proven. Thus, Alex Jones' removal, how much do you want to bet it was orchestrated by U.S. intelligence agencies or government officials? It's probably a fact. Alex Berenson, journalist, we know because he won a lawsuit that he did not break any Twitter rules. Or I think it's fair to say he broke a couple, but they told him outright, he had just don't do it again. We won't ban you, but then banned him anyway. Why? Because the government agents, officials said, why aren't you removing this man? And they said, you got it, boss. It's a fact. It's confirmed and it's proven. I love this. Over on the good old Tim Pool Wikipedia page, they entertain this. They express the idea as though it's a conspiracy theory. When I said that conservatives face disproportionate penalties and censorship on these platforms. And I've been saying that for a long time. Why? Because Gizmodo reported it as definitive fact. And then all of a sudden, they act like it's a conspiracy theory. This is the weirdest thing about the modern media. Gizmodo in 2016 says Facebook was censoring conservative news sources. I go, whoa, Facebook was censoring conservative news sources, and say Tim Pool's a conspiracy theorist. What? Whatever, man. A large component of this really does seem like the goal of the international World Economic Forum, Davos types, elitist, American Uniparty, whatever this powerful group of individuals, a CFR, Trilateral Commission, whatever, you name the group. It seems like a large component is, as Alex Jones described, they will lay bear traps, tell you the bear traps are there, and then say it's your fault for stepping in them. Let me break this down for those that haven't seen it. I know I'm already getting too much into the weeds without showing you the important context for those that missed it. Rumble issued a statement saying that although it may be politically and socially easier for Rumble to join a cancel culture mob, doing so would be a violation of our company's values and mission. We emphatically reject the UK Parliament's demands. And this is what they said. They said, we are looking at Russell Brand use of social media, including on Rumble, where he issued his preemptive response to the accusations made against him by the Sunday Times and Channel 4's dispatches. While we recognize that Rumble is not the creator of the content published by Mr. Brand, we are concerned that he may be able to profit from his content on the platform. You know what that is. That's called a shakedown. We would be grateful if you could confirm whether Mr. Brand is able to monetize his content, including his videos relating to the serious accusations against him. If so, we would like to know whether Rumble intends to join YouTube in suspending Mr. Brand's ability to earn money on the platform. We also would like to know what Rumble is doing to ensure that creators are not able to use the platform to undermine the welfare of victims of inappropriate and potentially illegal behavior. Incredible. They're losing. They are abject evil. They are corrupt. I will say it again. There is no question in my mind. These people are evil. This is lawful evil. It is malicious evil. Evil people seek. So it depends on how you want to break down your view of evil. But my view of it tends to relate to destruction and it tends to relate to personal benefit at the sacrifice of individual rights and liberties. Goodness is creation and self-sacrifice, recognizing that you will face hardships, but you will do what you can to maximize goodness and creation. Now, I'm sure these people are making the argument that for the greater good, we must take immoral actions against Russell Brand. No, that's degradation, chaos, and it leads to hatred, animosity, instability in governance. And with the exposure of this, it only increases the rate at which the narrative machine will continue to break and confidence in our institutions will shatter. Meaning, you're losing, deep state. I love this. Here's the latest development. Russell Brand news. That's what it says. Elon Musk faces questions. They say, over at The Independent, Elon Musk is facing questions from a senior MP over Russell Brand's Twitter status, in the wake of a slew of allegations. Culture, Media, and Sports Committee Chairwoman Dame Carolyn Dinenage asked Mr. Musk, who recently changed Twitter name to X, if he has personally intervened in any decisions on Russell Brand's status on the platform. The question comes after Mr. Musk was quick to respond to Brand's video Friday, in which the comedian strenuously denied various allegations. In the communication to its chief executive, Linda Yaccarino, Carolyn also asked if X would be suspending Mr. Brand's ability to earn money on the platform. There it is. It's not just Rumble, TikTok. We know from this letter, let me show you, that they said they've reached out to other networks as well. Let me pull this one up. Let's pull up the full tweet from Rumble. This is where they basically admit it. They say, the Culture, Media, and Sport Committee is raising questions with the broadcasters and production companies who previously employed Mr. Brand to examine both the culture of the industry in the past and whether that culture still prevails today. Simply put, the UK government has contacted broadcasters. So when Russell Brand's content is being removed from networks, you now know. Why did YouTube ban Russell Brand? Because they work at the behest of Western government. Now, I think Russell Brand should sue YouTube for defamation, and I certainly hope he does. I don't know, maybe he doesn't win. And to be fair, look, I've been on the back end of allegations, smears, lies, etc. It is really, really difficult to sue. And a lot of lawyers outright just say, there's no point, you won't win. Have a nice day. And, I reject that. Some people have told me that I should sue insert company for various reasons, and you can't. But I wonder, and I don't know for sure, if Russell Brand has a defamation per se argument against YouTube. Because YouTube said they're demonetizing Russell Brand because they take off-platform behavior into account. Really? That is to imply YouTube has said Russell Brand is a rapist. That's defamation per se. Defamation per se is separate from standard defamation in that it doesn't require the Times v. Sullivan actual malice standard nor damages. Defamation per se is defamation so egregious that in and of itself, it is viewed as damaging to the person's reputation. When it comes to defamation for public figures, if they say Russell Brand, did X, they said that, he sold off his company. Let's say Russell Brand broke the trust of his business associates, selling a company and effectively hurting them in the process. That's not defamation per se. You would say, hey, that's not true. That never happened. My business associates were well compensated. You can't accuse me of that. They'll say, what damages did you face? This is the actual malice standard. I don't know about the UK, but in the US, prove that the person who said this knew they were lying and show us what your damages were. Otherwise, they're allowed to lie about you. No kidding. You can lie about someone in the press so long as no one can prove you knew you were lying and they don't suffer damages from it. So if you said that someone kicked the dog, that's not defamation per se. And then what's the damages from accusing someone of that? So, for instance, you have one organization accusing me of spreading election misinformation. How do you prove damages from that? Well, the reality is the defamation does hurt. They will use that as a pretext to take away sponsors and try and shut you down. But you can't prove the connection, so the courts throw you out. Plus, how do you prove the individual knew they were lying? Of course we know they know they're lying. Prove it. For defamation per se, accusing Russell Brand of offline behavior that warrants suspension of his monetization, they're flat out saying he's a rapist. Well, okay. Now that's defamation per se. Now Russell Brand should sue. Here's the reframing. I love this stuff. The deep state didn't frame Russell Brand, you idiots. They say there are some things that are unknowable, but without a scintilla of evidence, should not be entertained as serious. One of those is the notion that a conspiracy of institutions, the mainstream media, pharmaceutical companies, center-left politicians, and other monsters of the Cathedral. I love that they use the Cathedral. Shout out to Michael Malice. Has manufactured. I wonder if they actually cite him in there. And what is this? The Cathedral? Pushing total BS misinformation, blah, blah, blah. This is from November of 2022. Where do they mention the Cathedral? Yeah, here we go. Curtis Yarvin credits himself for coining the phrase, which he defines as the Cathedral is just a short way of saying journalism plus academia. Ah, very interesting. Anyway, he says, Brand has been accused by 4 women, etc., etc. This is stupid, full stop, and anyone pushing this idea has revealed themselves as a deeply unserious person. Okay, he says, here, let me clarify. He says a narrative is immediately formed not only among professional liars like Alex Jones and other trolls, but also from the mouths of mainstream right-wing commentators that Brand is being persecuted by a vast conspiracy because of his anti-establishment commentary. Let's put a pause on there, good sir, Anthony L. Fisher. Ooh, do you have egg on your face? Because only a few minutes after you posted this, it was proven definitively that UK government elements are admitting to contacting networks and social media platforms to have Russell Brand shut down. Oh, now hold on. Don't play the game where you're like, no, they simply inquired as to whether or not any action would be taken against him. Yeah, okay. Dude, sad, really. When someone comes to your business with a baseball bat and they say, hey, it'd be a shame if someone came in here and roughed up your business and stole from you, but don't worry, we're going to protect you. Cost a little bit of the green. You're going to pay it, right? Would be unfortunate if you didn't, if you know what I mean. Hey, I got a story for you. I got mugged once. Hilarious because I was broke as broke can be. I had an empty wallet. Seriously, I had a wallet, literally just an ID in it. I didn't have credit cards, I didn't have a debit card, had no money. And I didn't even know I had it, but I was like, not going to put my ID in my pocket, I guess. And a guy, so as I'm crossing the street, this is in, where was this? Lincoln Park in Chicago. Tall guy, he's probably like 6'4", 6'5", says, hey man, I need some money right now. Can you give me some money? I'm trying to do the right thing and just ask you to help me out. And I was like, sorry, man, I'm broke. I don't have any money. And he goes, no, I know you got money. I know you got money and you're going to do the right thing. I don't want things to get bad if you know what I'm saying. So why don't you help me out and give me some money? And then I laughed, pulled out my wallet, and I was like, brother, I have no money. And he goes, you think I'm stupid? I know you got money in your shoe. And I'm telling you, I got a knife. And I'm just saying, why don't you give me some money? Uh-huh. Oh, he had a knife on him. What happened? He got arrested. Crazy story. A cop came out of nowhere, grabbed the guy, slammed him up against a fence, and screamed, not in my town. The guy had, I forgot what it's called, but a guy was following behind in case things went bad. But bro, I'm like, I started laughing. As it turns out, and I've told the story before, when they were taking his information down and arresting him, they asked me if I would sign the complaint, and I did. And I saw the guy's address, and he lived a few blocks away from me. No joke. He was like neighbor. He was next door neighbors with one of my friends. And so I was like, I started laughing and I was like, bro, I live in the same neighborhood. You live next to Owen. And he was like, you know Owen? And I'm like, you dumbass. He thought because I was in Lincoln Park, I must have money. Dude accidentally tried to mug another poor South Sider. But that's what they do. They go to the North Side. Anyway, I find it hilarious that what this guy is doing, he didn't come up to me and say, give me all your money or I will hurt you. He said, I'm trying to do the right thing and you could get hurt. Why don't you just give me some money? One thing that muggers have started to do in a lot of cities is quote unquote panhandle. That's right, panhandle, because it's not illegal to panhandle. And so here's what happens. A guy will walk up to you and say, hey man, I'm really hungry. Can you give me money? If you know what I mean? And then what happens is the police have instructed everybody, especially in Chicago, just to hand over your money when you're being mugged. These uppity, well-to-do liberal types panic and they say, just take it, please. Then they call the police. And this guy who, quote unquote, mugged the dude doesn't think 2 seconds, doesn't fret at all about it, smiles and waves, says, thank you so much, and casually walks down the street. The police show up, and then the guy says, that's the guy who mugged me. And the person says, I didn't mug anybody, dude. I was panhandling. And then they're like, what happened? And it's like, the guy will even just stand there. The person doing the mugging knows. They don't have to run. Why? This has happened. I don't know how common it is, But the guy committing the mugging says, I asked the dude if he could spare some cash. The dude said yes and handed me money. And the cops go to the guy who got mugged and say, did he ask you? And be like, yeah, he asked me if I would give him money. And they're like, sir, that's not a mugging. He was panhandling. But he wasn't. You know what I mean? The implication and the way the muggers will do something like, hey, man, why don't you give me some money and help me out? And then what was said? You go to court and this dude will be on the stand. They know it. They'll say, I just asked the guy, hey, man, can you help me out? I just need some cash. And the dude handed me his money. And I was like, thank you so much. And then the dude will be like, no, he was more menacing than that. He said, can I have some money? And they're like, are you kidding? This guy was panhandling. You see how they do it. That's what they're doing here with Russell Brand. We know what it means when government agents who have all of this power can regulate you, can fine you. And let's keep in mind, the UK, this is from TechCrunch, UK opens new chapter in digital regulation as Parliament passes online safety bill. This is it. They could fine these companies. What is it? They say up to 10%. Levy fines up to 10%, up to 18 million pounds, whichever is higher, of annual turnover for violations of the regime. Wow. That's amazing. So what do you think? What do you think happens? These companies are like, man, we can't go up against the government. They have a monopoly on violence. They can fine us. They can shut us down. What do we do? Rumble has remained steadfast. Hey, they're based in Florida. They're going to say pound sand. Elon Musk, the richest guy in the world, good luck. But you know what? They've laid it all out. It's clear. And thanks to the likes of Rumble and X, we now get definitively proof that the UK government is trying to shut down Russell Brand and have admitted to reaching out to other networks to get his content, let's just say, challenged. And then conveniently it's pulled down. So I'll simplify it for you, the Daily Beast. Let's simplify it. If members of a government, and this is Russell Brand's government, are contacting networks suggesting that Russell Brand should not be monetized, saying they're concerned he's monetized, that is an outright negative implication at the idea that Russell Brand could make money off the platform. There is an agenda within the government to take away Russell Brand's ability to make money, even though he did nothing wrong on these platforms. Interesting, to say the least. It's confirmed, man. That's really crazy to see. Right now, there is some more information, and I haven't talked too much about this. Elon Musk, Twitter, rarely lobbied against state laws. Now X is suing California over one. This is really interesting news. And I don't know how much I can say, but I can say that the Babylon Bee, Minds.com, were party to what is effectively the same, I would say a similar lawsuit over this bill that was passed in California. And now X is filing suit over this. Before its acquisition by Elon Musk, Twitter privately lobbied California state lawmakers about a content moderation bill. Renamed X, the company is now suing over it. The move from quietly lobbying to suing over laws it disagrees with is a major shift. Twitter is not known for spending millions of dollars trying to influence legislators or for using blah, 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 blah. You get the point. Basically, California has a law that will require certain actions to be made. So Elon's X is alleging First Amendment violations, according to disclosure reports and people familiar with the effort. Elon Musk is doing a lot of good work. Neuralink is pretty scary, and there's a lot of negative stories coming out about what happened to these monkeys in these clinical trials. And sorry, man, I don't believe you. I believe the media is lying. I have real concerns over what Neuralink will do to this world, but right now, I can only assess it for what it is. Elon Musk is no saint and he is not perfect, but he's doing a lot of good. Nobody's perfect. SpaceX is one of the most important endeavors carried out by mankind. Sorry, it's just true. And I believe that there will be monuments built to Elon Musk in the future. A lot of people today will scoff at the idea, sure, but there's a statue of the guy who invented air conditioning in Florida. I am not exaggerating. It's true. The guy who first invented mechanical refrigeration. Brilliant. And he died in poverty, not realizing that his initial concepts would carry on and, he did a good job. It's really, really incredible. Modern refrigeration. They built a statue for the guy. I have been to way too many Wright brothers memorials, and I've seen way too many plaques honoring the Wright brothers to think that Elon Musk is not going to get some kind of statue or whatever. The dude's pioneering modern space travel. With Starship and the plans for orbital space stations, with Starlink, Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. There will be monuments to SpaceX for which I'm not saying in this instance Elon will be personally in a big maybe. I'm saying SpaceX is going to be memorialized in some way. Today, it's hard for us to think about anyone being memorialized, but don't be surprised if there's statues of Donald Trump, seriously. And depending on who wins the culture war, maybe Joe Biden. I really doubt it. But Donald Trump for sure. Trump's got his name already plastered all over everything, so that wouldn't be surprising. But I don't know, our culture is different. What Elon is doing is really fantastic with X, with challenging the censorship, with fighting for individual rights, highlighting the corruption that we're seeing in the government now on the border. He's doing good work. Neuralink is freaky. Right now, Neuralink is going to bring on human trials to cure or to treat people who have become paralyzed. Incredible. So if you have a spinal injury, Elon is saying this could be a chance for you to walk once again. It's amazing stuff, really. And I'm sure there are people who are begging at the opportunity to get access to these clinical trials. And of course, now the media is attacking him. There's weird investigations into him. There's weird lawsuits. And the media is smearing him, claiming that he murdered a bunch of monkeys. Elon Musk said this is not the case. The monkeys that were in these clinical trials were already terminal. And therein lies the big question for all of you. I wonder if you went to someone who is suffering paralysis and said, we are going to do research on 15 terminal monkeys. The research may cause them suffering and they may die. But the information gained from this research could result in the paralyzed walking once again, the blind being able to see, and the deaf being able to hear. Would you support it? I know it's a really tough question. I'm pretty sure I know people would say no way, never. You know, you can't violate the rights of life. And some people would say, how else do we advance technology? We have to do research on life. It's tough. I don't have all the answers for you. I know there's tremendous good that will be carried out by these trials. And I think Trump was right with the right to try legislation, that if you are terminal, a human, you should be allowed to try experimental procedures. It may cause you more suffering, but the research we gain from your volunteering, because you're going to die anyway, could not only save your life, but could save others. I don't have all the answers, my friends. I am no arbiter of morality and truth. I simply call it like I see it. And right now, try as they might, they can't cover this one up. This may be the fastest conspiracy theory that was confirmed to date. So there you go. The agenda, it's real. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.